In a world where influence is often the key to success, understanding the secret techniques of manipulation can give you a distinct advantage. This book will uncover powerful strategies that can help you navigate social, professional, and personal interactions with confidence and control. By mastering these techniques, you'll learn how to persuade, inspire, and subtly influence those around you without them even realizing it. Whether you seek to boost your career, improve relationships, or gain more influence, the tools within these pages will equip you to make a lasting impact. Prepare to discover the hidden dynamics that shape human behavior and how to harness them to your advantage. Let's begin. From Puppet to Puppeteer. Published by Audiobooks HUB. And now, let's get started. Secret techniques of manipulating people. Manipulation, it's a word that often sends shivers down the spine. For some, it conjures up images of shadowy figures pulling invisible strings, bending others to their will. But let's be clear from the start, manipulation is not inherently evil. It's a tool, like a hammer. In the hands of a skilled carpenter, a hammer builds homes. In the hands of a criminal, it breaks windows. In this book, we're going to explore the hidden world of manipulation. We'll uncover its secrets, examine how it works, and, most importantly, learn how to use it wisely and ethically. By the time you finish, you'll not only recognize manipulation when it's being used on you, but you'll also understand how to wield it as a force for influence and persuasion. Why should you care? Because manipulation is everywhere. Advertisers use it to sell products. Politicians use it to win votes. Even friends and family, intentionally or not, use subtle forms of manipulation in their interactions. Understanding these techniques empowers you to navigate life with clarity and confidence. But here's the twist: manipulation is not just about controlling others. It's also about mastering yourself. This journey isn't about turning you into a puppet master. It's about equipping you with the tools to thrive in a world where influence is currency. Let's make one thing clear: this book does not advocate deceit, harm, or unethical behavior. Manipulation, when practiced responsibly, can help you become more persuasive, deepen relationships, and achieve your goals without resorting to force. So, if you've ever felt like you're at the mercy of someone else's agenda, if you've ever wished you could understand the subtle dynamics of power and influence, or if you've ever wanted to steer conversations and situations in your favor, this book is for you. Buckle up. The world of manipulation is about to reveal its secrets, and you're about to become a master of influence. Support our channel with a like and subscribe. Your support means the world to us. The psychology of manipulation. Before diving into specific techniques, it's crucial to understand the psychology behind manipulation. Why are people so easily influenced? What makes manipulation work? At its core, manipulation leverages human emotions, cognitive biases, and natural tendencies to guide decisions. Understanding human nature. Humans are emotional beings. Even when we believe we're making rational choices, emotions often drive our decisions. This emotional wiring makes us vulnerable to manipulation. People seek comfort, avoid pain, and crave connection. These desires create opportunities for influence. For example, consider the concept of reciprocity. If someone does something nice for you, you feel obligated to return the favor. This is a fundamental psychological principle that manipulators often exploit. Ever wondered why free samples at stores are so effective? It's not just generosity, it's a calculated move to trigger your sense of obligation. Cognitive biases. Cognitive biases are mental shortcuts that help us make decisions quickly. While they're useful in many situations, they can also make us predictable and susceptible to manipulation. Here are 3 common biases manipulators exploit. Confirmation bias. People tend to seek information that supports their existing beliefs. A manipulator can feed someone tailored information that aligns with their worldview, gaining trust and influence. Authority bias. Humans have a natural tendency to trust and follow authority figures. Manipulators often position themselves as experts to gain control. Scarcity bias. When something seems rare or time-limited, it becomes more desirable. This is why phrases like limited time offer are so effective. Emotional triggers. To manipulate effectively, you must understand the emotional triggers that drive behavior. Fear, desire, guilt, and hope are some of the most powerful levers. For instance, fear. A politician might highlight potential dangers to sway public opinion in their favor. Desire. Advertisers often promise happiness, success, or love if you buy their product. Guilt. A colleague might remind you of past favors to pressure you into helping them. Hope. Promising a brighter future can inspire people to follow your lead. The power of perception. Perception often matters more than reality. People judge situations and individuals based on how they appear, not necessarily on the truth. Manipulators use this to their advantage by crafting specific impressions. Think of a salesperson who dresses impeccably and speaks confidently. Even if their product is mediocre, their presentation makes it seem superior. Practical exercise: spot the bias. Start observing conversations and media messages around you. Try to identify when someone uses emotional triggers or cognitive biases. For example, ask yourself, are they appealing to authority? Are they creating urgency or scarcity? Are they framing information to align with your beliefs? By becoming more aware of these tactics, you'll begin to recognize manipulation in real time, making you less susceptible to it. Summary. Manipulation works because it taps into the predictable aspects of human psychology, our emotions, biases, and perceptions. By understanding these foundational principles, you're already taking the first step toward mastering the art of influence. In the next chapter, we'll explore specific verbal and nonverbal techniques to subtly guide others in your desired direction. Verbal manipulation techniques. Words are one of the most powerful tools of manipulation. A well-chosen phrase can plant ideas, shift perceptions, or even change someone's decision. In this chapter, we'll explore proven verbal techniques that manipulators use, and how you can apply them effectively. The power of suggestion. Suggestion is a subtle way to guide someone's thoughts without directly instructing them. Instead of telling someone what to do, you imply it. For example, instead of saying, "You need to stay late to finish this project," say, "If we wrap this up tonight, we'll all feel relieved tomorrow." This approach works because it feels less controlling, making the person more likely to comply. Framing conversations. How you frame a situation can drastically influence how others perceive it. Framing is about presenting information in a way that highlights the benefits or minimizes the drawbacks. For instance, consider these two statements. You'll lose $50 if you cancel now. You'll save $50 by following through. The second option is far more appealing, even though both convey the same outcome. Leading questions. Leading questions are designed to steer someone toward a specific conclusion without them realizing it. Instead of asking, "Do you want to go out tonight?" try, "Would you prefer Italian or Mexican food tonight?" The second question assumes they want to go out and subtly narrows their choices. The illusion of choice. Giving someone the illusion of choice is a powerful way to make them feel in control while steering them toward your desired outcome. For example, instead of saying, "Can you attend the meeting at 2 p.m.?" say, "Would 2 p.m. or 3 p.m. work better for you?" By doing this, you maintain control over the situation while letting them feel involved in the decision-making process. Pacing and leading. This technique involves matching someone's current state, pacing, and then gently guiding them to a different state, leading. For example, if someone is angry, start by validating their feelings. "I can see you're frustrated." Once you've established rapport, shift their perspective. "What do you think we can do to solve this?" The power of silence. Silence can be as powerful as words. After making a statement or asking a question, pause. The silence creates tension, prompting the other person to fill the void. This can lead to them revealing more information or agreeing with your point. Practical exercise, reframe and lead. Think of a recent situation where you wanted someone to agree with you. Rewrite the conversation using the techniques from this chapter. Practice framing statements and asking leading questions to guide the discussion in your favor. Summary. Verbal manipulation relies on the art of subtlety. By mastering suggestion, framing, leading questions, and the illusion of choice, you can influence conversations without coming across as forceful. In the next chapter, we'll dive into nonverbal techniques that enhance your manipulative abilities and amplify your verbal strategies. Nonverbal manipulation techniques. Actions often speak louder than words. Nonverbal cues, body language, facial expressions, and tone of voice can influence people in profound ways. In this chapter, we'll explore how to use these silent tools to manipulate effectively and read others like an open book. The power of eye contact. Eye contact is a universal tool for building connection and trust. The way you use it can either strengthen your influence or undermine it. Direct eye contact. Use steady but not overly intense eye contact to convey confidence and sincerity. For example, holding someone's gaze while making a request increases the likelihood of compliance. Strategic breaks. Breaking eye contact at key moments can create intrigue or signal vulnerability, prompting empathy from the other person. Practice. Experiment by holding eye contact longer than usual in casual conversations. Notice how it changes the dynamic. Mirroring. Mirroring involves subtly copying someone's posture, gestures, or expressions. This creates a sense of familiarity and rapport. people are more likely to trust and agree with someone they perceive as similar to themselves. If someone leans forward, do the same after a brief pause. If they nod while speaking, nod back slightly to show alignment. Caution: avoid making it obvious. If the mirroring feels forced, it may have the opposite effect. Controlling your tone of voice. Your tone of voice can change the meaning of your words entirely. A calm, steady tone conveys authority, while a warm and friendly tone builds trust. Lower pitch. A slightly lower voice pitch projects confidence and command. Pauses. Strategic pauses after key points create emphasis and allow your words to sink in. Practice. Record yourself speaking with different tones and pitches. Identify which tone feels most persuasive in different contexts. Using touch. Touch can create a powerful connection if used appropriately. A light touch on the arm or shoulder during a conversation can build trust and reinforce your message. When to use it? Touch is most effective in situations where a relationship already exists or where cultural norms permit it. Subtle gestures. Avoid prolonged or inappropriate touches, as they can make people uncomfortable and backfire. Managing facial expressions. Your facial expressions should align with your words to enhance credibility. However, they can also be used to manipulate emotions. Smiling. A genuine smile can disarm hostility and create warmth. Neutral expressions. In negotiations, maintaining a neutral expression keeps the other party guessing and prevents them from reading your thoughts. Creating physical presence. How you position yourself in a room where conversation impacts how others perceive you. Dominance. Stand or sit with an open posture, shoulders back, chest out. This signals confidence and authority. Approachability. Use a relaxed posture with slightly open arms and hands to appear more inviting. Practice. Observe how people respond to changes in your posture or positioning. Adjust based on the reactions you notice. Reading nonverbal cues in others. Manipulation isn't just about projecting signals, it's also about interpreting them. Watch for these common nonverbal signs. Crossed arms. This may indicate defensiveness or discomfort. Leaning in. Signals interest or agreement. Shifting eyes. Could suggest nervousness or dishonesty. Practical exercise. Master the mirror. Choose a conversation partner and focus on mirroring their body language and tone. Subtly mimic their gestures, posture, and facial expressions. Observe how this affects the flow of the conversation and their receptiveness. Summary. Nonverbal manipulation techniques are subtle yet incredibly effective tools for influence. By mastering eye contact, mirroring, tone of voice, and body language, you can create trust, convey authority, and guide interactions to your advantage. In the next chapter, we'll explore emotional manipulation techniques and how to ethically navigate this sensitive territory. Emotional manipulation techniques. Emotions are the most potent driving force behind human behavior. Manipulating emotions is both a powerful and delicate skill, requiring precision and awareness of ethical boundaries. In this chapter, we'll delve into techniques to influence feelings such as trust, fear, guilt, and hope to achieve desired outcomes. The trust trigger. Trust is the foundation of influence. Without it, even the most carefully crafted words or gestures will fall flat. To build trust quickly, focus on these methods. Vulnerability. Sharing a personal story or admitting a minor flaw can make you appear relatable and genuine. For instance, a manager might say, "I've made mistakes before, too, but I learned a lot from them," to inspire openness in their team. Consistency. Act consistently with your promises. Even small commitments kept over time build a reservoir of trust that can be leveraged when needed. Using fear as a motivator. Fear is one of the most primal emotions, and it's highly effective for manipulation when handled carefully. To trigger fear without causing panic. Subtle warnings. Highlight potential risks in a way that feels protective rather than threatening. For example, if we don't act now, we might miss a critical opportunity. Scarcity. Create urgency by implying limited availability or time. Statements like "this offer won't last" or "there's only one spot left" exploit fear of missing out, FOMO. Guilt and obligation. Guilt can be a powerful lever to drive people toward specific actions. However, overusing it can breed resentment, so it should be applied sparingly. Remind of past favors. Subtly reference your efforts. "I remember staying late to help you last month. Could you return the favor?" Highlight consequences. Frame an action as a moral failing. If we don't step in now, it could hurt the entire team. Inspiring hope. Hope is the counterbalance to fear. Where fear discourages risk, hope motivates people to pursue possibilities. Paint a vision. Use vivid descriptions to outline a brighter future. For instance, a coach might say, "Imagine how amazing you'll feel when you achieve this goal." Celebrate small wins. Reinforce progress to keep motivation high. Highlight how far someone has come rather than focusing on what's left to do. The push-pull technique. This technique involves alternating between positive and negative emotions to keep the other person emotionally invested. For example, compliment someone to boost their confidence, then express mild doubt to challenge them. "You're doing an amazing job, though I wonder if you could push it even further." Empathy is a tool. Empathy is not just about understanding someone's emotions, but using that understanding to influence them. Demonstrating empathy can lower defenses and make someone more receptive to your suggestions. Reflective listening. Repeat back their feelings to show you understand. "It sounds like you're feeling overwhelmed about this decision." Offer solutions. Position yourself as the person who can help alleviate their pain or uncertainty. Practical exercise. The trust and hope balance. In your next interaction, focus on building trust through vulnerability or consistency, and inspire hope by painting a positive outcome. Observe how the balance of these emotions influences the other person's willingness to cooperate. Ethical considerations. While emotional manipulation is effective, it's also the most easily abused. Always consider the impact of your actions on the other person's well-being. Manipulation for selfish or harmful purposes can damage relationships and your reputation. Summary. Emotional manipulation leverages powerful human feelings such as trust, fear, guilt, and hope to drive behavior. Mastering these techniques allows you to influence others deeply while maintaining ethical boundaries. In the next chapter, we'll examine how to use social dynamics to strengthen your influence within groups. Manipulating social dynamics. Humans are social creatures, profoundly influenced by group dynamics and societal norms. By understanding and leveraging these dynamics, you can subtly guide group decisions, enhance your influence, and position yourself as a leader. In this chapter, we'll uncover techniques to manipulate social situations effectively. The power of social proof. Social proof is the psychological phenomenon where people follow the actions of others, believing it to be the correct behavior. To use social proof in your favor. Create momentum. Highlight how others are already supporting or following your idea. Everyone in the team seems to agree this is the best approach. Use testimonials. Share examples of others' positive experiences to validate your point. The last time we tried this strategy, the results were fantastic. Practice. In your next meeting, casually reference others' agreement or success stories to see how it sways the group. Leverage group dynamics. Groups often have unspoken rules and hierarchies. Identifying and working within these dynamics can give you the upper hand. Identify the influencers. Every group has key individuals who carry disproportionate influence. Gain their support first to sway the rest of the group. Side conversations. Engage in private discussions with key members before larger meetings to align their views with yours. Tip: avoid directly challenging dominant members in public. Instead, subtly influence them in private to gain their support. The bandwagon effect. People are more likely to adopt an idea if they believe others are already on board. This technique ties closely to social proof but focuses on creating a sense of inevitability. Present as a majority view. Frame your proposal as the popular or prevailing choice. Most people in the department feel this is the right move. Use visible support. Encourage visible signs of agreement, such as hand-raising or vocal endorsements, to influence undecided individuals. Managing groupthink. Groupthink occurs when a group values harmony over critical evaluation, leading to poor decisions. To subtly manipulate groupthink. Frame the narrative. Steer the discussion in a way that makes your idea appear as the natural choice. Avoid highlighting drawbacks unless necessary. Diffuse dissent. Use phrases like, "That's a good point, but let's consider this angle," to gently redirect opposing viewpoints. Creating alliances. Alliances are critical for long-term influence within groups. Having allies who share your goals strengthens your position and ensures ongoing support. Shared interests. Identify members whose goals align with yours and offer mutual support. If we back each other on this, we can make real progress. Divide and conquer. Isolate dissenters by highlighting their lack of alignment with group goals or values. Subtly taking the lead. Establishing yourself as a leader without overtly asserting dominance requires finesse. Ask questions. Guide the discussion by asking insightful questions that steer the group toward your preferred outcome. Provide solutions. Be the person who identifies problems and offers actionable solutions. This positions you as a reliable authority figure. Practical exercise, social influence in action. At your next group gathering, try implementing one of these techniques. For instance, use social proof by referencing others' support or subtly guide the conversation by asking strategic questions. Observe how the group's dynamics shift. Ethical considerations. Manipulating social dynamics can have far-reaching consequences, both positive and negative. Ensure your actions benefit the group as a whole and avoid exploiting individuals' weaknesses for personal gain. Summary. Understanding and influencing social dynamics is a powerful way to navigate group settings and establish authority. By leveraging techniques like social proof, alliances, and the bandwagon effect, you can subtly guide group decisions in your favor. In the next chapter, we'll explore the art of persuasive storytelling and how to use narratives to captivate and sway others. They create relatability, making your message memorable and impactful. Key reasons stories are so effective include engagement. People are naturally drawn to narratives, especially those with conflict and resolution. Relatability. A good story allows the listener to see themselves in the scenario, fostering empathy. Memorability. Information delivered as a story is easier to recall than mere facts or arguments. The structure of a persuasive story. A compelling story follows a specific structure, designed to build tension and resolve it effectively. The hook. Start with a captivating statement or scenario to grab attention. Imagine walking into a room and instantly commanding respect. The conflict. Introduce a relatable problem. I used to struggle with public speaking. It was my worst nightmare. The solution. Share how the issue was resolved, ideally tying it to your desired message. By practicing one simple technique, I became the speaker everyone admired. The payoff. Highlight the transformation or key takeaway. If I can do it, so can you. Here's how. Types of stories for influence. Success stories. These showcase triumph over adversity, inspiring hope and action. Example, a small business owner turned her failing venture into a multi-million-dollar enterprise by implementing this strategy. Use, motivate others to follow your advice or adopt your ideas. Warning stories. These caution against undesirable outcomes, evoking fear or urgency. Example, a colleague ignored this opportunity and lost their chance for success. Use, emphasize the importance of taking action or avoiding mistakes. Relatable stories. These connect with the audience by reflecting their own struggles or experiences. Example, when I started out, I faced the same challenges you're facing now. Use, build trust and rapport by showing you understand their situation. Techniques for crafting impactful stories. Be specific. Use vivid details to paint a mental picture. The room fell silent, and I felt every pair of eyes fixed on me. Evoke emotion. Focus on feelings over facts. I was terrified, but I knew I had to act. Include universal themes. Highlight struggles, desires, or values everyone can relate to, such as perseverance or self-improvement. Keep it short. A concise story often has more impact than a drawn-out one. Delivery matters. Even the best story can fall flat without proper delivery. To ensure your audience remains engaged, Use dynamic tone and pace. Slow down for dramatic moments and speed up during action. Make eye contact. Connect with your audience by engaging them visually. Pause strategically. Let key points sink in by pausing after impactful statements. Embedding messages within stories. The true power of storytelling lies in its ability to subtly implant ideas. Embed your core message within the narrative without explicitly stating it. Instead of saying, "You need to act fast," tell a story where quick action led to success. Replace direct advice with a protagonist's journey that illustrates your point. Practical exercise. Craft your persuasive story. Think of a recent experience where you overcame a challenge or learned a valuable lesson. Structure it using the elements above, and practice delivering it to a friend or colleague. Pay attention to their reactions and refine your story accordingly. Ethical considerations. Using storytelling as a manipulative tool comes with responsibility. Ensure your stories are truthful and serve a positive purpose. Avoid distorting facts or exploiting emotions for selfish gain. Summary. Persuasive storytelling is a powerful way to captivate, inspire, and influence others. By mastering narrative techniques, you can subtly guide people's thoughts and actions while keeping them engaged. In the next chapter, we'll explore how to use nonverbal communication and body language to amplify your manipulative techniques. Mastering nonverbal communication. Nonverbal communication often speaks louder than words. Body language, facial expressions, tone of voice, and even silence can significantly influence how your message is received. By mastering these subtle cues, you can control perceptions, build trust, and manipulate situations to your advantage. In this chapter, we'll uncover the secrets of nonverbal influence. The power of nonverbal communication. Research shows that over 60% of human communication is nonverbal. People instinctively pick up on nonverbal cues to gauge intentions, sincerity, and confidence. To manipulate effectively, align your nonverbal signals with your desired message. Dominance through posture. Your posture conveys authority and confidence, or a lack thereof. Stand tall. Keep your shoulders back, chest open, and head held high to exude confidence. Claim space. Subtly occupy more space by spreading out your arms or legs. This signals dominance. Avoid slouching. A hunched posture communicates insecurity or submissiveness. Practice. Next time you enter a room, consciously adopt a confident posture and observe how others react. The power of eye contact. Eye contact is a potent tool for building connection and exerting control. Sustained gaze. Hold eye contact slightly longer than usual to appear confident and assertive. Mirroring. Match the other person's eye contact style to build rapport. Strategic glances. Look away briefly to create mystery or signal disinterest. Tip: avoid staring, which can come across as aggressive or unsettling. Mastering facial expressions. Your face reflects your emotions, but with practice, you can use expressions to manipulate how others perceive you. Smile strategically. A genuine smile builds trust, while a subtle, controlled smile can signal confidence. Control microexpressions. These fleeting expressions reveal true emotions. Practice controlling them to avoid exposing your intentions. Express empathy. A concerned or understanding expression can make people feel heard and valued. Exercise. Stand in front of a mirror and practice shifting your facial expressions to convey different emotions convincingly. Using gestures to influence. Gestures reinforce your message and can subtly guide others' perceptions. Open gestures. Use hand movements that suggest openness and honesty, like spreading your palms upward. Steepling fingers. This gesture exudes authority and confidence, often used by leaders during discussions. Pointing or directing. Use deliberate gestures to draw attention to key points or guide focus. Avoid fidgeting or excessive gestures, which can signal nervousness or lack of control. The role of tone and pace. How you say something often matters more than what you say. Speak slowly. A measured pace conveys confidence and control. Vary your tone. Use pitch and inflection to emphasize key points and maintain interest. Lower your voice. A deeper tone is often associated with authority and credibility. Practice. Record yourself speaking and analyze your tone, pace, and pitch. But just to align with the impression you want to convey. Reading others' nonverbal cues. Understanding the nonverbal signals of others allows you to anticipate their thoughts and emotions. Observe body language. Crossed arms might indicate defensiveness, while leaning forward shows interest. Note eye movements. Shifting eyes can suggest discomfort or dishonesty. Watch for mirroring. If someone mirrors your posture or gestures, they likely feel connected to you. Exercise. In your next interaction, focus on identifying at least 3 nonverbal cues from the other person and adjust your approach accordingly. Subtle manipulation through nonverbal techniques. Pacing and leading. Mirror someone's body language and gradually shift your posture to guide them to mirror you. This creates subconscious alignment. Silent pauses. A well-timed pause creates tension or emphasizes a point, forcing others to focus on your words. Directional glances. Look at an object or person to subtly direct others' attention there. Practical exercise, the nonverbal advantage. Try combining open gestures, confident posture, and sustained eye contact in your next conversation. Observe how these changes impact the other person's responses. Ethical considerations. While nonverbal communication can be a powerful tool, it should not be used to manipulate others into harmful or unethical decisions. Always consider the impact of your actions. Summary. Mastering nonverbal communication is essential for influencing others and maintaining control in any interaction. By refining your posture, gestures, and tone, you can project confidence and subtly guide outcomes. In the next chapter, we'll delve into psychological triggers and how to use them to influence behavior effectively. Psychological triggers that influence behavior. Human behavior is driven by subconscious psychological triggers. These triggers, when understood and applied, can subtly influence decisions, attitudes, and actions without direct persuasion. In this chapter, we'll explore the most effective psychological triggers and how to use them to your advantage. The science behind psychological triggers. Psychological triggers are deeply rooted in human biology and social conditioning. They work because they bypass critical thinking and appeal directly to emotions, instincts, or ingrained patterns. Examples include scarcity. The fear of missing out drives action. Authority. People tend to obey those they perceive as experts or leaders. Reciprocity. Humans feel obligated to return favors. Trigger 1. Scarcity. Scarcity creates urgency and heightens perceived value. When something is rare or limited, people want it more. How to use it? Highlight limited availability, only a few spots left. Emphasize time constraints, offer ends tonight. Example, an exclusive club uses limited memberships to create demand, making people desperate to join. Practical tip, in conversations, subtly mention how your time or resources are limited to increase their perceived value. Trigger 2. Authority. People instinctively trust and follow those in positions of authority. This trigger can be leveraged through appearance, knowledge, or association with respected figures. How to use it? Present credentials or expertise. As a published author, I've studied this extensively. Associate with authoritative brands or individuals. Example, a doctor in a lab coat recommending a product immediately boosts its credibility. Practical tip, dress the part, speak confidently, and refer to credible sources to amplify your authority. Trigger 3. Reciprocity. When someone does something for us, we feel compelled to return the favor. This innate tendency can be used to create goodwill and influence. How to use it? Give first, offer a small gift, compliment, or valuable information. Create a sense of obligation. I thought you might appreciate this resource. Example, free samples in a store often lead to purchases because the customer feels indebted. Practical tip, start meetings or interactions by offering something useful or kind, setting the stage for cooperation. Trigger 4. Social proof. Humans look to others for guidance, especially in uncertain situations. If many people are doing something, others are likely to follow. How to use it? Highlight popularity. This is our best-selling product. Share testimonials or reviews. Here's what others are saying. Example, online platforms display high ratings and reviews to encourage purchases. Practical tip, when proposing an idea, mention how others have benefited from or supported it. Trigger 5. Commitment and consistency. Once people commit to something, they are more likely to follow through to remain consistent with their self-image. How to use it? Start small. Can you spare just a moment to sign this petition? Build gradually. After a small commitment, introduce larger requests. Example, a charity asks for a small donation, then follows up later with a request for a bigger contribution. Practical tip, ask for minor agreements first, then escalate your requests. Trigger 6. Liking. People are more likely to be influenced by those they like or feel connected to. Liking can be fostered through similarity, compliments, or shared experiences. How to use it? Find common ground. You're a coffee lover too? Same here. Offer sincere praise. Your perspective is so insightful. Example, a salesperson builds rapport with a customer, increasing the likelihood of a sale. Practical tip: use genuine compliments and actively seek points of connection to build liking. Trigger 7. Fear of loss. The prospect of losing something valuable often motivates action more than the possibility of gaining something. How to use it? Emphasize potential losses. Don't miss this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Frame decisions around what could be lost rather than gained. Example: insurance companies highlight the risks of being uninsured to encourage sign-ups. Practical tip: in negotiations, subtly point out what the other person stands to lose by not acting. Trigger 8. Novelty and curiosity. Humans are naturally drawn to the new and intriguing. Novelty triggers dopamine release, making people more receptive. How to use it? Present something unique. You've never seen anything like this before. Pose intriguing questions. Have you ever wondered why? Example: advertisements often tease new products to build anticipation. Practical tip: introduce fresh ideas or unusual angles to spark curiosity and engagement. Practical exercise: applying triggers in daily life. Choose one psychological trigger and use it in a real-life scenario this week. For example, highlight scarcity by emphasizing limited availability of your time or resources. Build authority by referencing a credible source during a discussion. Take note of how people respond and refine your approach based on the results. Ethical considerations. Using psychological triggers comes with responsibility. Manipulating people into harmful decisions or exploiting their vulnerabilities can lead to mistrust and long-term consequences. Use these techniques to guide, not exploit, and always aim for mutually beneficial outcomes. Summary: psychological triggers are powerful tools for influencing behavior. By understanding and strategically applying scarcity, authority, reciprocity, and other principles, you can subtly guide decisions while maintaining ethical integrity. In the next chapter, we'll explore advanced techniques for handling resistance and overcoming objections. Overcoming resistance and handling objections. No matter how effective your persuasive techniques are, there will always be individuals who resist, challenge, or object to your influence. Resistance is a natural part of human behavior. People are instinctively wary of manipulation, especially when they feel their autonomy or interests are being threatened. In this chapter, we will discuss how to anticipate, address, and overcome objections, ensuring your influence remains strong without being perceived as pushy or unethical. The nature of resistance. Resistance often stems from fear, skepticism, or the perception that they are being manipulated. People naturally want to maintain control over their decisions and are hesitant to make choices that could be perceived as not in their best interest. Understanding the root of resistance helps you handle objections more effectively. Common reasons for resistance. Fear of loss. People resist change when they fear losing something they already have. Skepticism. Doubts about your intentions or the value of your offer. Self-confidence. When individuals feel unsure or insecure, they resist because they fear making the wrong choice. Need for control. People object when they perceive they are being coerced or manipulated. Technique 1. Active listening. One of the most effective ways to address resistance is by first showing that you are fully listening and understanding the other person's concerns. This not only diffuses tension but also builds trust, making them more receptive to your message. How to use it? Let the person express their concerns without interrupting. Use reflective listening by repeating their objections, so you're concerned that. Validate their feelings. I understand why that would be a concern for you. Example, if someone objects to your proposal because of its cost, instead of brushing off the concern, say, I see how the price could be a worry. Let's look at the value it brings in the long run. Practical tip. Practice active listening by letting others speak their minds completely without judgment. You'll find that they often soften and become more open to your input. Technique 2. Empathy and emotional validation. People are more likely to drop their resistance if they feel understood and respected. Expressing empathy can help soften objections and create a space where the person feels comfortable revisiting their stance. How to use it? Acknowledge the emotions behind their objections. It makes sense that you're hesitant. This is a big decision. Share your understanding of their situation and validate their feelings. Example. When someone is skeptical about a new idea, say, it's natural to feel uncertain when faced with something unfamiliar. Many people feel the same way at first. Practical tip. Before offering a counter-argument, try connecting on an emotional level. People who feel heard and understood are far less likely to resist. Technique 3. Reframing the objection. Reframing is a powerful tool that allows you to change the perspective of an objection, making it seem less significant or even turning it into an advantage. How to use it? Acknowledge the objection, then offer a new perspective. Present the objection as an opportunity or a benefit. Example, if someone objects to a proposal because it requires too much time, you might reframe by saying, I understand that time is valuable, and that's why we've streamlined this process to maximize efficiency. Practical tip. When you hear an objection, ask yourself how it can be turned into an opportunity or benefit for the person. Reframing is about shifting the focus to a positive angle. Technique 4. The yes and technique. This technique is borrowed from improvisational theater and works wonders when handling objections. Instead of outright dismissing the objection or becoming defensive, you build upon it. How to use it? Agree with the objection, then add an additional statement that opens up new possibilities. This approach acknowledges their concern while guiding the conversation toward your desired outcome. Example, if someone says, this product is too expensive, you could respond with, yes, it's more expensive than some options. And what you get with this product is significantly better quality and longer-lasting results, which could save you money in the long run. Practical tip, practice the yes and technique by reframing the conversation as a collaboration rather than a confrontation. Technique 5. The power of silence. Silence is a potent tool that can create pressure and compel others to think more deeply about their objections. By pausing after making a compelling point or response to an objection, you encourage the other person to reconsider their stance. How to use it? After addressing an objection, pause and give the other person space to process the information. Use silence strategically, especially when you've made a strong, persuasive argument. Example, after offering a solid solution to an objection, remain silent, allowing the other person to digest the information and possibly change their mind. Practical tip, when you present a strong point, Allow the silence to settle. People will often fill the void by reconsidering their position or responding with new thoughts. Technique 6, the Feel-Felt-Found method. This technique involves empathizing with the person, sharing a similar experience or observation, and then offering a solution. It is particularly useful when someone's resistance stems from fear or doubt. How to use it? Feel, acknowledge their feelings. I understand how you feel. Felt, share a similar experience. I felt the same way when I first heard about it. Found, offer the positive outcome. What I found is that once I tried it, the benefits became clear. Example, I understand how you feel about the uncertainty. I felt the same way when I first considered this approach. But what I found is that it can actually save time and give better results than we expected. Practical tip: use the Feel-Felt-Found method to validate others' feelings while leading them to new realizations. Technique 7, asking probing questions. Sometimes, simply asking the right questions can break down resistance and lead the other person to rethink their objections. How to use it? Ask open-ended questions that encourage the other person to think about the consequences of not accepting your proposal. Use questions to uncover deeper concerns and address them directly. Example, what do you think would happen if we didn't make this change? Or how does this compare to other solutions you've tried? Practical tip: ask questions that gently guide others to see the flaws in their objections or the advantages of your proposal. Ethical considerations. While overcoming objections is a powerful tool in persuasion, it's important to ensure that you're not manipulating or coercing others into decisions that are not in their best interest. Respect their autonomy and always act with integrity. Summary: resistance is a natural part of any attempt to influence, but it can be overcome with the right techniques. By listening actively, empathizing, reframing objections, and using strategic silence and questioning, you can navigate resistance without alienating others. In the next chapter, we'll explore how to create lasting influence through consistency and building trust. How to use it? Listen attentively to others' concerns, emotions, and perspectives. Respond with understanding, not just solutions. Acknowledge their feelings and validate their experience. Example, if someone expresses frustration with a situation, instead of simply offering solutions, acknowledge their feelings. I can see how that situation would be frustrating for you. Let's work together to figure out a solution. Practical tip: practice empathy by putting yourself in others' shoes. This doesn't just help in professional contexts, it improves your personal relationships as well. Technique 5. Be authentic. Authenticity is crucial when building long-term influence. People can usually tell when someone is being insincere or manipulative. To create lasting influence, you must be genuine in your intentions and actions. How to use it? Avoid pretending to be someone you're not, even if it seems like a quick way to gain influence. Let your true personality and values shine through in all your interactions. Be honest about your strengths and weaknesses. Example, if you're building a business relationship, don't try to impress others by claiming expertise in areas where you're not experienced. Instead, be honest about your skills and where you can contribute. Practical tip: take time to reflect on your core values and beliefs. Authenticity comes from understanding and living in alignment with your true self. Technique 6. Deliver value first. When it comes to building long-term influence, offering value without expecting something in return is a powerful tool. By focusing on what you can give rather than what you can get, you foster goodwill and trust. How to use it? Find ways to offer value to others before asking for anything in return. Look for opportunities to help people, even when there's no immediate benefit for you. Share knowledge, resources, or support freely. Example: if you're trying to persuade someone to collaborate, offer them something helpful first, whether it's advice, resources, or a useful introduction. Practical tip: look for small ways to add value to others' lives. The more you give, the more others will trust and be willing to work with you in the future. The importance of patience. Building lasting influence doesn't happen overnight. It requires time, effort, and consistency. Patience is key, as the process of earning trust and creating long-term relationships can be slow but immensely rewarding. How to use it? Take the long view when cultivating influence. Don't rush the process or expect immediate results. Be patient with yourself and others as trust and influence develop over time. Practical tip: remember that the foundation of influence is built on small, consistent actions. Stay patient and stay consistent, and the results will come. Ethical influence. As we have discussed throughout this book, influence can be a powerful tool, but it must always be used ethically. Manipulating others for personal gain or without regard for their well-being can ultimately damage your reputation and relationships. Ensure that your influence is always in line with your values and the best interests of those you are attempting to influence. Summary: building long-term influence and trust is the most sustainable form of persuasion. By being reliable, transparent, competent, empathetic, authentic, and patient, you can create lasting relationships based on mutual respect and benefit. Remember, influence is not about forcing others to do what you want. It's about guiding them to make decisions that align with both their needs and yours. Conclusion: mastering the art of influence. As we come to the end of this journey, it's important to reflect on the powerful tools and techniques we've explored. Influence, when used ethically and responsibly, is one of the most potent forces you can wield in both your personal and professional life. The techniques shared in this book provide you with a roadmap for transforming from a passive participant in your interactions to an active, strategic influence. Remember, manipulation doesn't have to carry a negative connotation. It's not about controlling others or coercing them into actions they don't want to take. True manipulation is about understanding human nature and using that knowledge to guide decisions, improve relationships, and create win-win situations. It's about having the skill to shape outcomes in a way that benefits everyone involved. The journey from puppet to puppeteer is not just about gaining power over others. It's about understanding the dynamics of influence and how you can leverage them for personal growth, success, and the greater good. With these techniques, you'll be able to navigate social landscapes with confidence, build stronger relationships, and inspire others in ways you never thought possible. However, as you step into this new realm of influence, always be mindful of the responsibility that comes with it. The power to influence is a gift, and with it comes the need for wisdom and integrity. Use these tools to elevate others as much as you elevate yourself, and you will not only achieve success but also build lasting, meaningful connections. Thank you for embarking on this journey. The secrets of manipulation and influence are now at your fingertips. What you do with them is entirely up to you.